Good afternoon and welcome to Saturday Football on 2MCL 100.3 FM. Mike Shean with you for the call, along with Matt French and Curtis Woodward. We're at Victoria Park this afternoon for the match between the Moss Vale Dragons and the Picton Magpies. And as I welcome Matt French to the microphone, Matt, a very special day for the Magpies.
Yes, absolutely, Mike. It's the Old Boys Day. It's our third annual Old Boys Day. Basically, the day where all the old players get down and reminisce, and a lot of backslapping and stories where people basically remember themselves in a lot better light than they really were. But it's all about just the history of the club, and a good day so far. It's a good crowd here, and we're hoping for a really good game's footy.
Certainly are. Curtis Woodward also in the box with us this afternoon. Curtis, a tough test for the Magpies, but Moss Vale, not the best season for them this year.
Yeah, coming dead last. Magpies will be expected to win this afternoon, and on a day like this, Old Boys Day, I'm a little bit more worried about Frenchie and all his mates hanging around up here. About halfway into the game after they've had about 35. I'm a bit worried.
I am more than a little concerned as well. I wasn't going to say anything in public, but since you mentioned it, I am a little concerned about 15 to go, could be getting rather nasty.
I think I may be getting sledged a bit too much, so I might have to go
find that hard to believe.
Yeah. I do have the hoodie on, so the hood might be going over the head at some stage.
Fair enough. Now, Picton flying fifth at the moment on the ladder, but you're certainly not confident that you're going to be in the fifth position after 18 rounds.
Well, the players are, and the coaching staff are there, they're happy with the way they're going, and they certainly believe that they'll be amongst the come semi-finals. The belief amongst the squad is that the form is there, and they've just got to keep that form up, and they're hoping to fly into about fourth spot.
I might be correct as well. Picton have got a game in hand that they've got to make up against the Oaks as well. So this is a big game this afternoon. They've got to get the points here. Then with the victory against the Oaks as well, that's 4 points coming up for them. And as we said, as long as you get to the finals, that's the main thing come September and come finals time. So if they can get that victory, you're going to go a long way to securing that spot in the semi-final.
No, you certainly will, and a valuable 2 points on the line for the Magpies this afternoon. Let's have a look at the two teams as they're about to come out. The Magpies, their side, Michael Lett named at fullback, Eric Everett and Rick Trevidic on the wings, Ben Hurley and Nick Taylor in the centres, Bryce Poisel, the 5'8", the captain, Tim Dengate, the half, the forward pack, Kyle Shepherd, Anthony Provost, Chris Bowers, Alex Peters, Blake Matthews and Matt White. For the Moss Vale Dragons, Jordan Gray at fullback, Luke Clark and Dylan King on the wings, Jacob Pearce and Josh Champion in the centres, Robbie Williams, the 5'8", Ryan Cullen, the half, their forward pack, Robbie Alves, Matt Jones, John Markham, Chris Enahoro, Craig Miller and Scott Getty. And here come the Magpies, led out by Bryce Poisel in front of a vocal home crowd, trying to lift the Magpies to the 2 points this afternoon. Hoping the boys can lift. Plenty of support for the Magpies. Great to hear down below us at ground level. The Magpies certainly with the support at home this afternoon, and the big Moss Vale side have also made their way out onto the field. Distinctive white with the red V, the Magpies in there, black with the white V, the traditional jerseys from both sides. So look forward to a good game. I guess I don't think we can see anything other than a Picton victory, and probably a comfortable victory at that.
It's fair to assume so. Obviously, we can't look anything in. I think looking at major boil over the Moss Vale, they're definitely looking for their first win of the year. From my point of view, let's have it today. But Picton in great form and looking to improve on that form to take into the semis.
Obviously, the go-to man for Picton as well as Michael Lett, obviously an ex-first grader, coming to the club midway through this year. I think he's scored a swagger tries already in a couple of games for the club as well. So, I mean, Moss Vale are going to have to watch him, but if they watch him, there's plenty of other dangerous players that Picton can go to in the field as well. So, it could be a long afternoon for Moss Vale here on Old Boys Day.
Certainly could be. As we see, referee Sam McDonald out in the middle, touch judges Aaron Sheldrick and Peter Dane in position. Moss Vale kicking to the right of your radio in the first 40 minutes. The Magpies defending the southern end of Victoria Park. The sun slowly setting on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon across the Macarthur. 2MCR Saturday Night Football. Mike Shean, Matt French and Curtis Woodward ready to bring you the match. Moss Vale and Picton from Victoria Park. We are away. Saturday Night Football, and Moss Vale kicking to our right. So first hit up goes to Cole Shepherd. Makes some good ground upfield and takes it almost to the 20-metre line. Pulled down 20 for a touch on the far side of the ground, the Menangle Road side. As they work it out, it looks like Anthony Provost going for a run from dummy half. He'll certainly be one of the keys tonight, boys, for the Magpies. If he can get some good ground out of dummy half, he'll be quite a handful for the Moss Vale attack.
He's had a great season, Anthony. Let's hope he keeps up the pace.
As we see the Magpies working out of dummy half now through Provost as they hit it up. A solid start for them up towards halfway, about 5 metres short. And they take it now, goes through the boot of, that looks like Hurley with it, kicking downfield. And the Dragons take it near their own line and they'll work it out. Good solid hit there from the Magpies defensive line. Kim Dengate in there making the first
He
hit.
loves it, the stocky little halfback.
He certainly plays above his weight, doesn't he?
He's a former under-20s Panther as well, so he's got plenty of talent out there, and obviously hits very hard for a halfback as well.
As
He
we
loves
see,
that long stuff. Scott Geddes, his first hit up for the day, probably the first of about 40 odd.
yes, he certainly won't be lacking in his hit ups this afternoon.
I just wanted to comment quickly, Mike and Frenchie, on the
Yeah,
smokers
sure.
board the club's put on as well this
Oh,
afternoon.
they've put on a great
couple of
spread this
chippies, a few
afternoon.
ollies, and when I got here, prawn heads and chicken bones. So thanks to the club as well.
No worries,
Definitely putting out all stocks for the 2MCR side.
Now they've put on a nice spread here as the Dragons kick from their own end, and that looks like Michael Lett bringing it back for the Magpies rather, and he'll play it about 25 out. 15
Eric Everett it was.
Eric Everett at fullback, is he? Okay.
No, he got the 2 on.
Oh no, he's got the 2, okay. As we see the other winger now, Rick Trevidic. He takes it over the 30, makes about 4 or 5 metres before they pull him to ground. In there was John Markham making the tackle for the Dragons. They put it through their hands now. So they try and work forward. Could have been a hint of an accidental offside. That's Blake Matthews rather.
It's a good run.
Taking it forward over halfway. Good run from him at about 5 metres inside Moss Vale territory as they play it now. They come back to the open left, through the hands. There's a nice ball for Alex Peters. He'll be a key man for the Magpies. He's pulled down eventually about 37 metres out from the Moss Vale line, working to our left in the first half. The Magpies, as they put it through their hands now, there's Matthews again. Second hit up for him. And he'll play it 29 metres out. In fact, gets it out the back. Lett puts it through their hands. That looks like the other front row in Cole Shepherd taking it forward. And he'll play it 31 metres out. In fact, 29 metres out from the Moss Vale line on the last tackle. They put it to the left. Hoysel, where's he going to go? Gives it back on the inside to Lett. Lett keeps it alive out the back for Shepherd. Shepherd for Dengate. Dengate kicks for the far wing. I think the winger could be offside. No, the ball will bounce into touch. A nice set there from the Dragons defensively, and the Magpies working well in the first 3 or 4 minutes of the match. So far, no score.
It was the Maggies will probably be disappointed with the way that set finished, but they're laying the foundation. Forwards are doing the hard work and building from there. Good run from Alex Peters in there. He's well known for his hard-hitting defence, but I think his running game's really improved this year.
Yeah, they look like they're going through the motion at the moment, like it's a training drill. They're getting down the field with ease. So Moss Vale is definitely going to have to watch that, and Michael Lett at the back end of both halves, he's going to lurk around the field, especially through the middle of Tim Dengate as well. So going through the motions, but a great start from Picton.
Good to see the Magpies working it out of their own end easily. That's Big Brad Maloney with it. He'll play it 20 out from his own line. They'll work back now through the dummy half, Matt Jones. And he'll play it 32 out from his own line in centre field. The Dragons, a rare attack for them through Geddes. There's his second hit up. And that's just an invaluable game to have Scott Geddes play for Moss Vale in their side this year. And he certainly has been putting in every week. As we see the halfback in Cullen kick downfield. Trevidic had a bit of trouble fielding that, and he'll trap it eventually a couple of metres out from his own line.
Was it in the 2MCR
Yeah,
OB?
Mike, they're blessed for backs there at Picton. Trevidic, the former
Do you
fullback
remember?
of the Earl Jets.
You
very
can't
talented
remember.
fullback in his own
No,
right.
neither
So
can
pushed
I.
the wing there with Lett inside.
I had a vague
Very
idea,
dangerous this
but
afternoon, Picton, plenty of speed.
No, they certainly have. The Magpies working
all
out
right,
of
no
their own
worry,
end.
mate. I
20
didn't really
metres,
want to
25
ring you,
metres
but
out from their own line, centre field. They'll play it now. They'll work it through the right-hand side. Ball pops out the back. Dengate's got it. Play on the call. And he's quite tough. Can't quite get through. And he's pulled down 40 metres out. 10 in from touch on the far side of the ground. So they come back to the open side now. Hoysel threatening to go through the line, but can't find a way through. Maloney's there, along with Geddes to make the tackle. A couple of metres short of halfway. 20 from touch on that far side. No score as yet. We've had about 5 minutes in the first half. Saturday night football on 2MCR as the kick comes from Picton, and Jordan Gray takes it 10 out from his own line, circles back centre field, can't find his way through the line. Matthews and in fact Peters and Promise making the tackle, 18 out from the Moss Vale line as Clark hits it up out of dummy half, and I guess a solid start from both sides. No real threats from either side, but certainly a a solid start from both teams.
Yeah, they're just feeling each other out at the minute. You know, Moss Vale look okay. I know they're not travelling too well on the table, but they're certainly not out here to get towelled up. They're going to give everything they have, and they have so far.
Especially on Old Boys Day as well. They've got something to prove, and they'd like to come up here up the road and cause an upset.
That's right.
As we see the Magpies defending now, Picton, Moss Vale have it 40 metres out from their own line. That looks like Clark with it. He's trying to stay in the field of play, but he can't, and he'll go into touch. The first real error from either side there.
Good
Looks
defence
like
there.
Clark's in a bit of trouble as well. Looks like Clark's in a lot of trouble, actually.
Benny Hurley, the number 3, doing a bit of hand slapping there. Pretty happy with himself. He's bulked up a bit, and he's probably the first to tell you he has. Good work, Benny. I hope you're listening to this later on.
I think young Luke Clark in a spot of bother with a left knee. Certainly hasn't moved from his position just over the touchline, but in a great deal of trouble, and trainers have come over to have a look at him now. Certainly twisted a bit awkwardly in that tackle as he was put to the ground. I don't think the referee's not quite. He has now.
Just made comment on Scott Geddes as well. They've certainly trimmed down since retiring. Usually it's the other way, Frenchie.
Yeah, you're right. I went down and watched their first game of the year down in Moss Vale against Middleton, and I was surprised then. I thought he was a lot bigger, but I think you're right. I think he has trimmed down. I think he's been working a lot on his fitness, not worrying too much about the weights anymore. And he looks fit. This probably explains why he's gone back to hockey.
Just with Nathan Hallmarsh, what was the deal with Hallmarsh this year? Because a lot was said about Hallmarsh coming out and playing some games. Was ever going to play the full season, or what was the deal there?
As far as I was aware, he was only going to play when available. And
Yeah.
it looked like there would be a handful of games he did play, but then his media commitments picked up. So as far as I know, he only got that first game. It's a shame. We would have loved to have him here today.
No, it would have been great to see Hindmarsh here as Picton have it from the restart, and they play it about 18 metres out from the Moss Vale line on the attack early as the Magpies try and mount something here as they work to our left. They'll play it now 11 metres out, comes through the hands from Provost. Dengate gives it off for Bowers. Bowers takes it forward, he's only about 4 or 5 metres out, working his way towards the line, very close now. And he'll play it only a couple of metres out from the Moss Vale line. Provost dummy half struggling to get to the ball. Eventually gets there, and a penalty comes to Picton. Like the Moss Vale defence not rolling out of the ruck. Penalty in front of the post, only a couple of metres out. Provost takes it back to the 10. Gives it off now for the lock forward in White, who's very close to the line and held up time. Certainly a good attack here from the Magpies, and they'll play it on the first tackle 10 metres out.
It was interesting to see if they were going to take that kick then. It was right in front of the post, I guarantee too, but they've decided to run it.
And they'll play it now 10 metres out, tackle 1 for the Magpies. Still a full set. Provost from dummy half. Spins it right. Dengate shows it. Gives it out. That's Lett giving it on for Taylor. Taylor puts it through the hands, and it looks like Tavivic's in the corner. First try of the afternoon to the Magpies.
That was Eric Everett.
Eric Everett, they've swapped jumpers, haven't they? Okay. So Eric Everett gets the first try of the afternoon. We've had about 8 minutes, just over 8 minutes in the first half. It's 4-0 Picton leading Moss Vale Saturday night football.
Yeah, nice little move out the back there from Michael Lett to Nick Taylor. It's a lovely combination, those two. They both played a lot higher quality football than this, so it's a bit of a luxury for Picton to have them both out wide there. Nice little combination out to Everett on the wing.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing there for Moss Vale. They defended well, defended stoutly, but then it was just a simple play, a training, as we said before, a training drill, a play at the back to Lett, and they're probably watching a little bit too closely because they didn't mark up. And Nick Taylor, as Frenchie just mentioned, a former Canterbury Bulldogs reserve grader, got the ball out there to the winger, and so disappointing. And note there that Nick Taylor just knocked up about 10 minutes before kick-off, so wherever he's been, it's worked.
He's pretty casual, Nick, and
How's the modelling career going?
That's right, he's doing very well. Our very own Derek Zoolander. But he is a very good man, as we just alluded to.
Very similar width to me as well, Frenchie.
I think that's about where the similarities end, though.
What, the same bodies? I'll take that.
Yeah, no. That's the difference. That's why you're looking in radio and not out for Cleo or any of those magazines. So we see Anthony Provost lining up the shot at goal. He's about 25 metres out, maybe a metre and touch on that far side of the ground. Certainly a tough kick, but he's been in reasonable form this year. As we see the kick now, moves into it. Kicks on its way. Looks good.
Beautiful.
Flags are up. Great kick from Anthony Provost. So After about 10 minutes, it's Picton 6, Moss Vale 0, Saturday night football on 2MCR. Mike Shean, Matt French and Curtis Woodward with you tonight.
Very interesting to see how Moss Vale come back after that try there. They, as we just said, defended well in the first 10 minutes, but maybe that first try has broken their back, so we'll find out the next set of 6 what Moss Vale got.
Certainly will be interesting to see how they handle that as they restart play now. And the Magpies take it from their own line, and again looks like Big Kyle Shepherd taking the first run forward, makes it to the 20, and in fact that's his partner Bowers just over the 20. Good run from Bowers as they play it down for a dummy half. Provost goes himself looking for a gap, can't quite find one, still makes 9 or 10 metres up to the 30, but certainly nothing doing trying to get through the defensive line of the Dragons. As now that's Shepherd taking it forward over the 40, plots it out the back, but it's been picked up by Moss Vale. And they've got the first real chance to attack inside the Moss Vale, inside the Picton half. Sorry, Matthew. As we see the Dragons now taking it forward through their second rower, Enahoro. He'll play at 35 out, 20 in from touch on this broadcast side.
He's a handy player, that Enahoro. I saw him playing round 1, and he was a handful for the Midland defence that day. The big number 11.
I actually played against him myself down at the college. He's a very good player. So size, speed, and obviously a bit of time.
Okay, so we see the Dragons working it forward now up towards the 20. A chance for them to bounce some points, and it looks like Markham's got it. He'll play it for the hooker in Jones. Goes through the hands now. There's Big Maloney with it. Hard to miss him in the 20 jersey. Only makes another couple of metres and pulled down 18 out right in front of the post. That's the last tackle. Sam McDonald puts his arm in there and says that's tackle 5. That's Cullen. Puts a little grubber kick in, and Enahoro flips it back. Has that gone forward? I think it has. So nice work there from the Dragons. Looks like something's mounting, but unfortunately mounting to nothing.
It's been called a knock on, and I think the Picton players will be pretty relieved about that. They wouldn't have been happy to concede a try so quickly after their own.
Nice start there from the Dragons. First real chance to attack, and certainly threatening. If nothing else, as we see the Magpies working out of their own end, 15 and 17 metres out from their own line. That's Hurler, he's taking it forward over the 20. Good run from him, about 7 or 8 metres up towards the 30 now in centre field. And a good afternoon for footy as well. It's a little on the cool side, but a fine, dry afternoon condition. Should be pretty good for both sides, and I would think handling wouldn't be an issue for either side.
Yeah, it is amazing though how quickly the dew sets in once that sun goes down behind the hill here in Picton. It turns into Frog Hollow. Can't wait. It's lovely at the minute, but give it 20 minutes and we'll see.
As we see the Magpies, a couple of metres short of halfway now. And Dengate puts it on the right Peter Slipper, sends it downfield. And Jordan Gray's got that covered in the in-goal. It will go dead, just a tad too long, but a nice option there from Tim Dengate.
Just watching Michael Lett off the ball in the first 10-15 minutes of this game. Geez, he's good over the field. Just very smooth, cool customer over the field, and obviously he knows when to interject himself into a game, and he's going to be very dangerous to Moss Vale. A couple of big bobs out there for Moss Vale, and I think a couple of them might have backed up from reserve grade, so they're going to find it difficult out there in the back end of both halves.
Yeah, you're right. He's one of those guys that the media they refer to as you're either a footballer or an athlete. And he's a bit of both, really. He's got the brain, he's just got the lightning speed as well.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have either of those skills. So as we see Big Maloney take it forward over the 40-metre line for the Dragons as they work it out of their own end. And as we mentioned, they've been competitive in the first 10 or 12 minutes as they play it now. 5 minutes short of halfway, so we've had about 13 and a half minutes in the first half, and 6-0 in favour of the Magpies over the Moss Vale Dragons as they play it now to the second rower in Millen. Good run from him up the middle. Gets the ball away, yes he does, but it's gone forward. Again, another good play from the Dragons, but just not able to complete that last play.
Yeah, and that could be the key here. If they can sort of hold on to their chances, they might be in the game. But like you said, that was a great run. He made a good 20 metres and just happened to slip out as he was getting to play the ball.
I think there's a bit of justice there, though. There might have been a forward pass off that dummy half. So
I thought the pass was marginal, but I allowed for the angle being not the best. But I thought the pass was certainly flattered at best as Picton win the scrum. Put it through the hands now. That looks like Lett trying to break his way through the line, but can't do so. There's 2 red and white jumpers there to meet him, including the halfback Cullen, along with Geddes. As they work it forward now, there's Alex Peters taking it forward over the 40 by about 4 metres. About 6 metres short of halfway now. The Magpies mounting another attacking raid as they make another 10 metres over the halfway. That's the lock forward in Matt White. He's been solid for the Magpies this year.
Former halfback. He never played like a halfback. He always played like a forward. Finally, he's where he belongs.
Well, okay. I'm not sure if he necessarily agrees with you on that.
He wouldn't mind me saying that, trust me.
As the Magpies now 28 metres out in centre field. They'll play it now. Ball to come back for Provost. Provost goes himself, can't get through the line. No room there and he's pulled down. 18 metres out just in line with the right hand upright. Dengate dummy half, gives it off to Poisel. Poisel gives it off, puts it through the hands. Taylor puts it down. Back on forward, no, it's play on. Last tackle, kick back across field. And Matt White can't handle that. That's gone through the hands. And we'll play on with Enohoro coming up with it for Moss Vale. He's lost it. And there'll be no advantage from Picton's original lock on.
See, I don't know if Coach Gary Dowse is going to be very happy with the last section of play here. Moss Vale obviously improved after that first try. Picton a little bit sloppy in the last couple of sets of 6, and Picton will have to pick up their game because you're never guaranteeing any game.
Yeah, you're right there, Curtis. I think Picton just got a little bit ahead of himself there. They scored that one try fairly early, and you think they're just trying to throw the ball around a little bit too much. They've got to get back to basics.
As we see the Dragons working it out of their own 20 and over the 20-metre line now, but a solid start from both sides. I'm sure Gary Dowse will be making some notes and having a chat to his boys in about 23 minutes time, so we'll see what eventuates out of that. As the Dragons take it out of their own end, and a good run there from the hooker in Jones up over the 40-metre line by about 3 or 4 metres, and he'll play it now. Comes through the hands, Enohoro. Big frame, tries to knock them out of the way, keep it alive.
Man, isn't he?
He's a massive man, and got it out the back to Jones, and he's pulled down a metre inside the Moss Vale half, and a solid tackle there, and he's certainly feeling the effects of it as it goes back to Cullen now for the little kick over the top. Not a bad kick there from Cullen, as Anthony Provost falls on it and plays on. Not held there, and he'll make some extra metres upfield for the Picton side. He'll be pulled down 8 metres short of halfway.
I'll tell you what, the Moss Vale halfback Cullen is a dead ringer for former Moss Vale and Canberra Raiders halfback Trevor Shadell. Looks exactly like him.
Oh, okay.
From a distance, anyway.
I think that's a bit
He looks
before.
like a lot of people from a distance.
Yeah, well, good point.
He looks like Butterbean from a distance, but he's a little bit thinner.
As we see the
Maybe
Picton
he
side.
can't fight.
Picton working it up to their own hooting now. It'll be a long night. As we see the Magpies.
She'll be right, Mike.
Dengate for Poisel. Once he got a short ball there. Looks like Let chiming in from fullback. And he'll be held 22, 23 metres out. In fact, that's a lock in White playing it 23 out from the Moss Vale line. Dengate through the hands. Peters trying to break through the line. Can't get through. Maloney's there with Enohoro to wrap him up. He's got the ball out. We're going to take it back. Pathway just a fraction of a second after he called held, so they'll play it. Peters plays it now. Hurley for Dengate. Goes a little grubber. That was on. Can he get the bounce? Yes, he can. Great try, Tim Dengate. Great work from the Magpies halfback. And that makes it 10 points to 0 in favour of the home side. Saturday night football on 2MCR. Nice work from the little halfback. I spotted that rubber kick before he even played it. So it couldn't have been that hard to spot, but he got through and scored nicely.
Yeah, it was just well weighted. It was right at the end of the dead ball line when he got to it. It was a great dive and just a great effort all around. Luckily, as you alluded to, there was no one home for Moss Vale, but it was a great effort by Timmy Dengate.
Yeah, chance here too for Dowse to get a message out to his players that they've got to start playing to the game plans. We are getting towards September. If they're going to be a premiership threat, make that final 5, they really need to start playing the way that a finals team does. And 10-0 up, it's probably going the way we thought it would go, but that doesn't mean that Picton don't have to perform for their fans and their coach.
Well, they certainly will have to make sure they stick to their game plans. And speaking to Coach Dowse after the game at the Oaks recently, he said that's pretty much what they had to do, was just stick to their game plan.
Speaking of someone that's slimmed down, hasn't Dowse slimmed down since the last time I saw him?
Well, you pointed at me, Curtis. I thought you were talking about me, mate, and I was going to take that on board.
No, you have slimmed down too, Frenchie.
Thanks, mate. But no, you're right. Gary Dowse, since he's retired from his playing days, has worked pretty hard on his fitness, and he is, I reckon he could run around no trouble these days. But yeah, he's probably 10 kilos lighter than back when he was
Isn't that an odd one? You retire and then you worry about your fitness.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about fitness, but yes, certainly
Neither will I.
An interesting observation. So we see Anthony Provost now lining up the shot at goal, 18 out and about 18 metres in from touch on this broadcast side of the ground, just to the left of the uprights. A relatively easy kick. But we have seen him miss some easy ones this year. Well, he's known to miss the odd shot, but you're backing him in, and having said that, he's missed it.
Yeah, he is a little bit off his radar, and probably the last 4 games or so. Before that, I would have picked him as the best kicker in the comp, and on the day, on his day, I surely could get me. But he's just, something's happened the last 4 weeks or so. Hopefully he can get that back soon, brother.
Because that would, turning 4 into 6 is certainly something you would need heading into the final series, and you need to make sure that those 2 points get added just about every time. As we see the restart now from Moss Vale.
It's like you just kick one from the sideline.
Yeah, it's a good point.
As we see just under 20 minutes to go in the first half, it's 10-0 in favour of the home side over Moss Vale.
That's Brendan Shepherd, younger brother of Kyle, who's just taken the field and just taking his first hit up.
Yeah, good run from him as we see the Magpies trying to mount something here over the 40. That's Everett with it. Good run from the winger over the 40 and pulled down 5 metres short of halfway on the second tackle. Comes through their hands, a flat ball there for Cole Shepherd. Cole Shepherd over the 40, pulled down 35 out, just inside the scrum line as Provost from dummy half gives it off. There's Matt White, good run from him, pops it out the back for Provost. Great ball, he's in under the sticks. That is a great try, and that'll be 14-0 with a kick to come in favour of the Magpies. 2 quick tries to the home side, and they're starting to flex their muscle now.
Yeah, that was a much better set of 6. A couple of good hit-ups there from first Brendan Shepherd, and a great run out of dummy half from Eric Everett. On the back of that, Kyle Shepherd made about another 20 metres, and look what a difference that makes.
Yeah, and Kyle Shepherd, a former half, he's turned himself into a front row, and in his later years, he's always been one of those dogged, tough players, Kyle Shepherd, and that's exactly what Gary Dowse, what we were just speaking about, a better set from Picton. They've probably got a rocket coming back from their last try, even though they are leading 14 points still to kick the company in front of the post. But I think we're going to see a different Picton side over the next couple of sets of 6 and really grind this one out and get it out of the way now.
Yeah, it was interesting what you said about Kyle Shepherd. I think he could still play in the halves if he had to.
Because he hasn't really gotten any bigger from
he's just, he probably runs around about 90, 95 kilos, but he's just so strong. Yeah. And he just does the job for Picton. He started out this year in the back row, and he's just a bit short on front rows at the minute, and he's just stepped in and just done the job that he's required to do by his coach.
A bit short on front rows, Frenchie.
Yeah,
maybe come
not
back.
that short.
Maybe come back, Frenchie.
Things aren't that desperate, surely. If they're looking at you two as possible front rowers, things are very grim. Let me tell you that. As we see Provost lining up the shot of goal, 10 out directly in front, should throw this over to make it 16-0 for the home side, and that will certainly please the solid crowd here. Not a capacity crowd, but a very solid crowd, especially for a Saturday evening. As the kick is successful, 16-0, a solid crowd for a Saturday evening in Victoria Park.
Yeah, and I probably should take this opportunity to thank the Moss Vale Club on behalf of Picton, because they have never had any complaint. They've worked with us in getting this 4 o'clock game on board. It was originally going to be a 5 o'clock game, and it had to come an hour forward to coincide with the Group 6 function later on in a couple of hours. So they've been very helpful to us, the Moss Vale Dragons, so thank you very much.
What up, Moss Vale?
Yep, certainly. And good to see the Dragons at least being as cooperative as they can in accommodating requests from other clubs. I know there's been some from, they had a Saturday night game a few weeks ago, which was at Community Oval, as we see a high tackle here from Moss Vale on the first tackle. No damage done, and penalty sufficient. Looked like Cole Shepherd, the unfortunate front rower, to receive that. But yeah, Moss Vale had a home game on a Saturday night a couple of weeks ago, and against Oakdale.
It would have been cold down there.
It would have been very fresh down at Community Oval. I didn't make the trip myself, but would have been very fresh at Community Oval on a Saturday night. But yeah, good to see the clubs assisting each other in the efforts of Group 6 Rugby League. As we see Picton now from the restart on the second tackle, Poisel over halfway, makes about 8 or 9 metres, and pulled down about 41 out from the Moss Vale line on the scrum line, 20 into the touch. Provost, Dengate, short ball out the back for Shepherd. Shepherd on for the second rower in Matthews. He keeps it alive. That's Dengate again, fighting like a little terrier. Pulled down 31 out, scrum line on the right hand side of the ground. Light starting to take effect here at Victoria Park. It comes back. Looks like Shepherd, Kyle Shepherd, with it. He's lost the ball in the tackle, and that'll be play on, will it? No, we ruled the knock on. Moss Vale will have the scrum feed trying to pop the pass, it probably wasn't there.
Yeah, that's just what I was about to say, Mike. Yeah, he's just looking for that little offload out the back, but it just didn't come off. Knock on Picton there. Feed
Unlucky for Shepherd too, because he's been a tower of strength so far, playing up, as you said, in the front row.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, just probably didn't need to push that pass. And that's probably the sort of thing Dowse would be looking at his boys not to do. That's probably the areas that he'd like to cut out of the game.
You're right, yeah.
As we see the Dragons working out of their own and 31 out from their own line on the first tackle. That's the 5'8" in Robbie Williams. The Rockstars, Big Maloney takes it forward over the 40. Takes 4 Magpies to pull him down eventually, 41 out. He could fit in quite easily up here in the box, not suggesting anything, but he's certainly not of the smaller builders. The Dragons working up on the halfway. Well, I'm not one to throw stones, but...
Well, you did before the game.
That's it. What happens before we start stays there, right?
I'll tell you what, though, it's a good effort by the big fella. He's played a full reserve grade game, and then he's come straight on into play
and the same for the 5'8" Robbie Williams.
Yeah, the Rockstar playing a good game, as we see the kick from Cullen on the last spiral torpedo kick. Not a bad one as the replacement in Pudney takes it over the 20, over the 30, beats a couple. Ragged down by Cullen, 38 out.
Mark Pudney there is actually one of our under 18s. He's electric on his feet. I think this is his first chance in first grade.
And we've got the Moss Vale trainers down, and he's in a bit of trouble as well. I think the Moss Vale trainer, he's done a knee. The crowd spotted this, and it is somewhat amusing. The Moss Vale trainer has injured his knee. He's gone down. I don't quite know what the rule is in relation to that.
I think the referee's just gone for the stretcher too.
I think we might need the stretcher here in a minute, but play continues now. Moss Vale trainer, seeing the amusing side of it, thankfully, he's able to hobble off the field. And,
what else can you do?
Well, there's not much. There's not many options.
Jeez, he's got some legs on him though.
Yeah, they are fair tree trunks, those ones.
Tackle busters.
As we see Picton working it up towards the 30-metre line for Moss Vale, working to our left. It's promised. In fact, that's Poisel out at dummy half, giving it off the left. Hasn't really seen a chance, but got it out the back there. Nice ball.
I don't know how he got there. I didn't even see it go.
He just managed to play it out, and it's been lost in the play the ball. Costly error from Picton there, but just a magic little ball from Michael Lenny. He's able to do that sort of thing, and I guess that's the advantage of having him at the club. He adds that little bit of spark to the side of a little bit of creativity that may otherwise not be there.
Yeah, and he's back at fullback today. It's only his second game at fullback this year. Rory Vale has done a great job for us this year. I'm actually not sure where Rory is. I assume he's just got something that's on this week. But, so Letty's slotted back there, and it's probably good for him. He gets to see a bit more of the ball.
A nice little replacement to put a fullback too, Mike.
Yeah, not a bad option. I did notice Rory Vale wasn't in the side, and he's not listed in reserve grade, so not quite sure where he is. But yeah, not bad when you can throw Michael Levitt fullback. It just, mate, we need you today. Pull the one on. You'll be right. As we see Moss Vale trying to get out of their own end, but Dengate in there making the tackle along with looks like Nick Taylor, the model, playing it 12 out from his own line. These Moss Vale, as they try and work it out of their own end. Yeah, what have we got? We've got about 12 and a half minutes left in the first half. It's 16-0 to Picton over Moss Vale. Saturday night football on the big match. Mike Shean, Matt French, and Curtis Woodward with you. If you like what you're hearing, head to Group 6 NRL commentary. If you like us, then like us. Let us know what you think of the commentary tonight as we bring you the match between Picton and Moss Vale. Picton do have it 20 metres out from the Moss Vale line, trying to bounce something against the model. Nick Taylor gets up in, and referee Sam McDonald says that was beyond the horizontal, dangerous tackle, penalty to the Magpies, and they'll take the chance to send deep to the left. As Anthony Promised has a look at his options, and he cuts it, gives it off to Tim Dengate, who hands it off for Matt White, and he runs forward up to the 10-metre mark, and he'll play to the centre field. Perfect position to start at centre 6, 10 metres out, right in front of the posts. Hoysel at first receiver, through the hedge, left, and that's the replacement. Pudney puts it down. Not the best pass, but he's put it down, and Moss Vale get the scrum feed, 10 out, 20 for touch. They're the sort of things we mentioned before. That's what Gary Dowse is going to be looking to make sure those plays stick when they go to run those plays.
Yeah, you're right there, Mike. I'm going to call it the due. I think the due is set in. It may be a little bit one-eyed of me to suggest that, but yeah, the handling errors are getting a bit too out of hand for Picton at the minute. They just can't quite get their roll on.
And sometimes it's very, very hard mentally to get up from games like this. They're expected to win Moss Vale and get at the bottom of the ladder. Very hard for sometimes each week to get up in games like this, but great defence from Picton. Yeah. And they're dragging back to the 1 metre from the line.
Yes, take it out of their own end, the Dragons, or at least try and work it out of their own end, but 3 and 4 black and white jumpers in there to pull them down. That looks like that's the centering. Jacob Pearce playing it now, 10 out from his own line as they work it forward now. Magpies trying to keep Moss Vale in their own end, but they'll play it through Millen.
Yeah, offside.
And a penalty.
It's all from a mile away.
Been doing it all day.
Yeah, they're very keen to get up there, Picton. A quick tap taken by the half-back and away.
Yeah, that's Robbie Cullen making good ground uphill. He's been one of the better players for Moss Vale. He's over the 40, up towards halfway. Runs into a wall of black and white. He's pulled down too short of halfway. Play it now, first tackle through the hands now. Ena Horro, good run from the second row. He'll play it 5 inside the Picton half. That's Jones out of dummy half. Good run from the hooker, up over the 30. Good run from him.
So he's a handy player too. He's gone well for him.
He certainly has. Cullen, Ena Horro, they're the names you want to see. Champion, over the 30, up to the 20. Pulled down 21 out of metering from touch on this broadcast side, working to our right. Alves dummy half. Gives it off for Ena Horro. What's he going to do? He'll take it up the middle. Good run from the second row. Pops it out the back for Alves. Biggest outside centre you've seen in a long time, and he'll play it 4 metres out. What can they do here, the Dragons? Can they mount something? Jones out of dummy half. Long ball, Cullen. What's he going to do? Puts it on the left boot to slip a good-looking kick. Nice take there. That was like Everett's away. Over the 30, over the 40, over the half. I don't know if they'll catch him. I think they've conceded. Eric Everett will go 100 metres and go all the way to score for the Picton Magpies under the uprights. 20-0 kick to come. That was unlucky. Nice kick from Moss Vale, but they've gone the distance, the Magpies.
Yeah, it was. It was one of those sets where the Moss Vale Dragons, they looked dangerous. They had a couple of handy offloads in there and were just right on that last play. The kick out wide, and it was a great take by Eric Everett, the flying winger, and he's raced 100 metres to score.
Moss Vale paying the price here for not having a couple of fresh front rowers. Ena Horro, clearly a very dangerous runner right of the ruck, but he's had to play a little bit tighter and do the front rowers work, and they're paying the price there. He's had to do a lot of work through the middle there. And Cullen, his kick was a little bit low trajectory, and his players couldn't get through in time. And what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do? 20-0.
But great approach from Moss Vale. Certainly the right intention there to put the kick up for the winger on the far side. Result certainly not what they were looking for. Length of the field try wasn't on the cards, but certainly the right play in that last tackle option, and just didn't come off for them.
Well, man for man, I think they're matching Picton for effort, but it's just a little bit of class and good plays in their spine positions that are hurting them. And when you're down 16-0 and the opposition runs 100 metres to score, and 20-0 coming into half time, it's going to be very interesting to see what Moss Vale side comes out over the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. The effort's definitely there, like we've said a couple of times. So they're trying their best Moss Vale, but
you can see
we've got about 6 to go.
8 to go.
It's
got 8 minutes to go in the first half. You can see Ben Hurley lining up the kick from in front. He puts it over. So that makes it 22-0 if my maths is reasonable. To Picton in favour of Moss Vale, and just see a couple of the Moss Vale players having a chat with referee Sam McDonald there. One of the better young referees in the competition.
Mike, I want to know where my prawn heads are going.
Mate, I don't know. You'd have to speak to
Can we get some more prawn heads out
You'd have to speak to senior management about that. I'm not quite sure where they managed to. They certainly didn't.
I'm only junior management.
They didn't come to this end of the town, let me tell you. They didn't come to this end of the box. They didn't come to this end, I can assure you. But Moss Vale, yeah, it certainly will be interesting to see how they bounce back over the next 8 minutes to half time. They are thin on numbers, only the 14 it looks like that are taking the field in first grade. So they will certainly struggle over the next 55 minutes or 45 minutes or so. The remainder of the match, as we see Picton playing it on their 20 on the first tackle. And certainly going nicely, the Magpies.
Good run out of dummy half by Nick Taylor there.
Yeah, he's made it to about 33, 34 metres out. Maloney made that tackle. And the ball going to ground there. That was Brendan Shepherd putting it down. Again, certainly shaping up nicely, but just not able to put that final pass together. And as we've mentioned, Gary Dowse will be looking for better completion in the second half.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like we've said before, it's a bit like a training run out here, but it's one of those training runs where the players tend to blow up a bit because they've gotten too much ball. And it's frustrating.
As we see Moss Vale with it now through the heads to Robbie Williams, the rock star. He'll play it 11 metres inside Moss inside Picton territory, and we've got a penalty for the Dragons for holding down in the ruck. And the Dragons looking to find touch now.
The go-to man's definitely the halfback and the back row there. Eda Horo. He's definitely a go-to player there, but he looks like he's stuffed already. So obviously he's going to have to find something because Moss Vale needs points.
Yeah, well, he's done a lot of work, and if I'm not mistaken, I haven't noticed Scotty for a while. Is he gone off injured?
Yes, he is on the sideline here.
That's a big loss for them.
That is a big loss.
Hopefully for them, he gets back on the field soon.
Well, they're certainly playing with 12 on the field at the moment. They haven't replaced him. As we see the other front rower in Markham take it forward. He's only about 4 or 5 metres out. Let's see if the Dragons can mount something before half-time. Certainly deserve the points in terms of effort, as we see Big Maloney is only about 2 metres out, wrapped up by Taylor and a couple of others there. As we see Jones at dummy half. Goes himself a little scoot, can't quite get there, half a metre out now, and he'll play it. Maloney, the biggest dummy half you've ever seen, goes the barge. Can he get over? I think he's been held up. I think he has been held up.
The unfortunate man underneath him was Michael Lett. He's done a great job.
Been pushed back. So they go the short side through the hands. They keep it alive. No one's gone into touch. Disappointing end to the set for Moss Vale. Unable to score points. 22-0 the scoreline. Would have been good to see them get some points before half-time, give them a little bit of hope. But not to be, and they'll pick them play at 10 out from their own line.
We give a bit of credit to the front row, Picton Bowers. Seems like better in the club from eternity, and a good player too. So he's obviously stepped up with a few front rows missing as well.
Yeah, no, he's one of the club's stalwarts, Chris Bowers, and he's a big fella.
As we see Brendan Shepherd over the halfway, over the 40, looking for support. I don't think he's going to make it. Cullen pulls him down as a good tackle. 15 out, 20 in from touch. Working to our left. What can they do before half-time? Hoysel, Herlihy, through the hands. Coming out, can they mount something here? No, he's gone into touch. The winger, that's Trevivic with it. And he's gone into touch a couple of metres out from the Moss Vale line. A good set from the Dragons, just not quite coming into fruition. It looks like Jordan Gray, the fullbacks, picked up a knock, making that tackle, and they will give them full marks for effort, Moss Vale, but it's certainly short on personnel tonight.
And that is a disappointing way to end that set after a great run by Brendan Shepherd, made to 70 metres, and Magpies would have wanted to capitalise on that, but just the wrong option there maybe, and Rick Vivic's just been shipped over the sideline.
I know they're 22-0 up, but I'm sure they're going to get a rocket at half-time. It is old boys' day here at Picton, and if you're an old boy who picked the Magpies and you don't get to come down the ground all that often, I mean, you definitely come down for days like this, and they'll get a rocket at half-time. There's a lot of people here watching them today.
I don't think that, I think to be fair to the Magpies, they haven't been playing that badly. They certainly haven't been that disciplined. Yeah, Douse wouldn't be too unhappy with them. Certainly areas for improvement, but I don't think they've been as bad as possibly you're suggesting in the first half. No, I think they've been going okay. It's certainly area for improvement.
You can delete it anyway.
Yeah.
I think if there's a compromise in between those two comments, it's probably just that they're not finishing off their sets quite as well as they should. You know, tackles 4 and 5 are great. They just don't seem to be finishing up too well.
And I think that's probably the one thing that Douse will be looking at. Is Cullen kicks early in the tackle count. It's going to go out on the full. Good idea there from the young halfback, but again the execution just letting them down. Picton to get a scrum feed, 22 out in centre field, and we're down to, what are we, about 2 minutes 20 on the clock in the first half. It's 22-0 in favour of Picton over Moss Vale. And looks like Scott Getty's putting on a jacket, so I suspect he may not be returning tonight.
Will he be the most unlucky man with injury?
Absolutely. Don't know what he did wrong in his early days, but whatever he did it well, because he has been
played for South.
I know a lot of people who are going to object to that comment. But, we see the Magpies now. Bryce Boyswell with it, pops it out the back. Let, what can he do? He goes himself. Only about 5 metres out now, only about 2 metres out from the Moss Vale line. Can't get across, and he'll play it now right under the black crossbar as we see them working forward now. Oh, he's lost it.
I think.
I'll tell you what, that might be
We've got a penalty to Picton. There was a strip in there, but...
I'm sure that Picton player there with the headgear, I can't quite get his number at the moment, but...
It's Adam Marshall.
If he's given the penalty for a break, I'm sure Marshall's came through and dived from the ball.
Yeah, well, that's a good point, yeah.
I'm not quite sure what the ruling is there.
I'll tell you, I know him personally, Chris Bowers would be devastated. He thought he was going over
he
a try
thought he had a match high there to his name as they play on Michael Lett. beats one, beats another, keeps going, gets there. Gets the try. Nice try for Michael Lett, the fullback.
I believe that's Letty's first for the day, is it?
Yes, it is.
I'll tell you what, he's done a bit of good work, but the Moss Vale Dragons probably be a little bit disappointed with just how easily he crossed over there.
Well, as I said, watching him off the ball, a guy like Michael Lett, even when he doesn't have the ball, he's a threat to the defensive line because they're always looking for Michael Lett, and that allows other players around them to do their job and look a whole lot better and make the breaks that Michael Lett does just by having his presence out there.
Yep, we're right on the stroke of half-time, 26-0. You'd expect the kick from beside the uprights from Hurley. He should make it 28-0 at half-time, and they'll certainly be happy, the Picton coaching staff, but as we've mentioned, room for improvement. Moss Vale, it's a struggle. Let's be fair, it is a struggle for them. They started with 14, a couple of injuries. They are really going to battle over the next 40 minutes to put up some sort of fight, but what do you say in that sort of situation where you know you're up against it to start with, and it's not getting any better?
Yeah, and again, I'd like to point out just what a good effort it is from the Dragons club. There were a few worried people at Picton that they might forfeit one or both games, but they've really done us proud here because they've had a couple of players that have played a full game reserve grade, backed up, started the game in first grade. They're battling, they've got no reserves. Are they down to 12? Have we worked that out?
I think they're down to 12 at the moment.
They've
With
got
Geddes off
another
the
player
field.
off the field.
Yeah, they started with 14, so they're down to 12 at the moment on my count.
They're doing their best, and let's hope the second half is reasonably competitive for their sake. We'd like to see a good game.
Yep.
Some sore bodies out there coming to the sheds now from Moss Vale, so I mean they can hold their heads up. Their effort's definitely been there, and maybe that's something that they can't be proud of each and every week because they're coming dead last. But today on Old Boys Day at Picton, they definitely effort-wise have given Picton a run for their money, but Picton just too much class across the field.
They certainly have. We'll take a short break. It's half-time, 28-0. Picton leading Moss Vale.